The COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia has felt, at times, like a bit of a roller coaster, and that's putting it mildly. From the first national lockdown and movement control order in March last year to the latest iteration facing the country, there's been numerous twists and turns. Here's an account of the highs and lows of Malaysia's COVID-19 journey thus far. The first lockdown. Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin, less than 3 weeks into his new job and a day after Malaysia recorded 190 cases, announced that the country would go under a movement control order. The MCO, which was supposed to last from March 18th to the 31st, was extended until May 4th, following which the first conditional MCO began. It ended on June 9th when cases sunk to single digits, marking the start of the recovery MCO. Compared to regional neighbors like Singapore, the Philippines, and Indonesia, Malaysia was seen as having one of the most robust and effective responses as the country's numbers held strong, barely cracking 20 a day. Health DG does Malaysia proud. The most visible face during the early stages of the pandemic, with his near-daily press briefings announcing the day's figures and reminding people to stay home. Health Director General Dr. Noor Hisham was lavished with praise for his handling of the pandemic and quickly became a household name. Accolades and international acclaim soon followed in recognition of his straightforward and calm approach to managing the pandemic. In August, he was bestowed the title Tan Sri in conjunction with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong's birthday. The Sabah elections. On August 9th, the Sabah state government declared its state assembly elections would be held on September 26th, despite the ongoing pandemic. Thus began the second wave of infections, when daily cases, mostly in Sabah, began to rise into triple digits in September, eclipsing every record set previously, as daily case numbers regularly cracked 4 digits. On November 7th, a CMCO was imposed across most states in the peninsula, which put an end to interstate travel in affected areas. Less than a month later, on December 5th, state borders were reopened. MCO 2.0 or emergency. Confusion was soon to follow. Muhyiddin, in a special address on January 11th, announced the commencement of MCO 2.0 in 6 states on January 13th. Less than 24 hours later, he announced that a state of emergency had been consented to by the king, effective immediately and to run until at least August. The emergency led to the suspension of Parliament, a decision much derided by many in the opposition and some in the government. Emergency powers allowed the government to enact new laws and amendments without debate. Different states went through the various levels of MCO until March 5th, which coincided with the start of the national COVID-19 immunization program the following week. The third wave and hashtag Kerajaan Gagal. March 29th was the last time daily cases dipped below 4 digits. From then on, cases increased steadily and SOPs came and went. The hashtag Kerajaan Gagal began to trend on Twitter on a regular basis, aimed at politicians who flouted SOPs, contradicted one another, and released confusing and vague SOPs. On May 8th, a day after a daily case record of 4,498 was set, Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob said there would be no nationwide lockdown, with restrictions to be targeted at areas of concern. Yet, 2 days later, Muhyiddin placed Malaysia under another MCO, from May 12th to June 7th. Hashtag Kerajaan Gagal reared its head again as the government was slammed for the abrupt U-turn. On May 20th, after recording 6,806 new cases, Malaysia surpassed India's number of daily cases per million people, topping the country whose outbreak this year was seen as one of the worst in the pandemic's short history. Then, on May 28th, with daily cases climbing above 8,000 for the first time, the Prime Minister announced a nationwide total lockdown from June 1st to the 14th, superseding the MCO the country was already under. Once again, the public and political opponents lashed out at the government's indecisiveness. With the death rate climbing and some ominously projecting the body count to reach 26,000 by September, despite the arrival of vaccines, people are angry and confused with the never-ending saga of twists and turns. They say life is a roller coaster, but this is stretching things too far. In the meantime, buckle up. This COVID-19 roller coaster is far from over.